I'm Evan Koslof here at Capitol Hill as condolences are pouring in from across the country. All eyes have been on Capitol Hill this week. That's where the Senate finalized a plan to send stimulus checks to millions of Americans. But there's a lot of confusion about this plan, so let's clear it up.
Show me what democracy looks like!
So this is the group right now. We got about 100 people that are here. They're walking down 15th Street. So in our team coverage today, we've got a lot of other people talking about what these young people are saying. But I want to take a moment just to talk about this moment in history. It's been a very difficult night for a lot of people, and one of the most tense areas is right here at Lafayette Square, right by the White House. There were tons of protesters there. Before we show you those images, I just want to show you this. This is what we're left with in the morning. I think that if he wins by a little bit, that's not really a victory.
Exactly.
He needs to win big. Basically how it works is when we go and vote for whatever party that may be, you're basically giving marching orders to your delegate to say, this is who I want you to vote for. Meanwhile, superdelegates don't need to listen to that at all. What does this do for people like you who will not be in Iowa? You're going to be right here in D.C. I want to tell you a quick story that sort of describes the feel of what it was like in there. And frankly, Larry, if you watch 6 hours of that debate or just 10 minutes, you may have seen something similar. We've heard it from both sides. The son of the president, Donald Jr., in fact, was calling for him to be removed from the GOP through Twitter. Meanwhile, here was the president's response. His analysis, one word: boring.
I was riding on this 2-lane road. I had come from my neighborhood, which is over there.
Julie Briskman is showing us where it all happened. Lowe's Island Boulevard in Sterling. It's less than a mile away from the Trump National Golf Course. In late 2017, Trump's motorcade went by.
As they were passing me, I was frustrated, obviously, with this administration, and I flipped them off.
At the next stoplight, she then did it again. Little did she know, someone was watching. So somebody in the press pool caught the photo.
Yes.
Are you glad they did?
Yeah, I'm glad they did. I mean, for me personally, but also because I think it expressed how so many people were feeling and so many people resonated with it.
It's a photo that quickly spread online, making her a hero for some and an enemy for others.
Oh, did you get that?
Even while out there, we saw it. Someone stuck the middle finger right at her, and it wasn't a friendly one.
I'm a symbol, right? And I'm happy to be that symbol.
Back at her home, just a few blocks away, she explains how it escalated from there. This photo spread like wildfire. Soon, her company, Akima LLC, fired her because of it. When the story got out, she went viral with the hashtag #her2020. Turns out, they were off by a year. She would win a spot on the Loudoun Board of Supervisors this year in 2019.
Perhaps the biggest victory belongs to a woman named Julie Briskman.
Her story making headlines, both serious and satire.
Virginia's got a new county supervisor and a new state bird.
If you could take it back and not hold up that middle finger, keep your job, would you rather have done that, or are you happy where you ended up?
Life is so much more interesting right now. I wouldn't take it back.
Outside the Russell Senate building, a small group of young people are huddling together. They're talking game plan. Moments later, they're heading inside, bringing their message to lawmakers. That's when the singing begins. They're singing to Jata Freeman. Here in the office of Democratic Colorado Senator Michael Bennet, Jata makes her point.
My birthday is tomorrow. I will be turning 18. And with that comes the ability to vote. And so I would just want my vote to matter, my voice to count as a D.C. resident.
These advocates are part of a group called 51 for 51. They're fighting for statehood, just like many before them. But what makes the group unique is their strategy. They're trying to change the rules in the Senate. And this is when it could get a little bit complicated. So let's slow things down and dive into Civics 101. Typically in the Senate, you need 51 votes, a simple majority. But complicating the matter is something called the filibuster. If just one senator takes the floor and keeps talking, he or she could theoretically delay a vote indefinitely. And there's only one way to stop a filibuster. It's something called a vote of cloture. That is 60 senators coming together and voting that the filibuster should end. And this brings us to the group's plan. They want to change the rules in the Senate and get rid of the filibuster for bills relating to D.C. statehood. That would mean they would only need 51 votes, not 60.
We need to have a vote. We need to have a voice, especially because all of this is happening in our city, but we don't matter. We don't have a voice in what's going on.
And this idea of getting rid of the filibuster is certainly not unprecedented. In fact, over the last decade, lawmakers have been chipping away at the filibuster. And there's blood on both sides of the aisle. First, in 2013, it was the Democrats. Frustrated by GOP resistance, Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid triggered the so-called nuclear option for the first time. They voted to change the rules so that you only needed 51 votes to confirm lower-level nominees in the executive and the judiciary. 4 years later, this would come back to bite them. The Republicans were now in charge. And Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell led his party to use the nuclear option once again, this time to confirm Supreme Court justices with just 51 votes. So in a way, this is just a continuation of a trend. So says Alan Morrison, the Associate Dean at George Washington University's Law School. He says this is just yet another attempt to weaken the filibuster.
Until the filibuster rule was changed by the Democrats during the Obama administration, nobody wanted to touch the filibuster rule. Once you start to unravel the filibuster with one party, there's no way you can put it back together again.
Social media is full of photos, videos, and information about these protests across the country. And here on the Verified team, it's our job to dig through it all and find out what's real and what's not. First, let's talk about tweets like this, which have gone viral. Heard earlier they found pipe bombs at the Korean War Memorial. To find out the truth about this pretty scary claim, we went straight to the park police. They sent us this statement, quote, "We were advised that a tweet said that there were pipe bombs at the Korean Memorial. The memorial and all adjacent areas were swept by explosion detection canines with negative results." Translation, no pipe bombs were found, and this rumor is false. The pipe bomb rumor seems to have started with this Twitter account, Jack Posobiec, from the One American News Network, that's been retweeted some 32,000 times. He offered this response to criticism about the pipe bomb rumor, writing, "I stand by my source." Next, this video, uploaded to Twitter, captioned, "Rioters and looters invading homes in DC."
They're going inside someone's home?
Now, out of context, this video can be pretty scary stuff. So let's stick to the facts. First, our researchers were able to trace back the video to the night of June 1st on Swan Street near Logan Circle.
I was on the top step and I flung open the door and just started grabbing people and just saying, "Get in."
That's when Raul Dubé, the homeowner, welcomed dozens of protesters into his home to wait out the curfew. The next morning, he was celebrated by protesters for letting them in. Our team showed Dubé the video, and he confirmed for us. This video is of his home on his street, of him inviting people in, not rioters rushing his home. That rumor is false.
No matter how many showers you take, how do you get all that out once it's in your system? So I hope and pray that the generations now and in the future never, ever, ever see anything like this in their lifetime. It's like I said, it's been 15 years or more since I've been back.
Coming here to the Pentagon brings it all back for Tim Callahan. You see, he's a retired firefighter and was there just minutes after the planes hit.
It was a reality check. It was like, wow, this isn't a bad dream that I'm going to wake up for. I'm living this nightmare. I'm part of this nightmare. And what a nightmare it was.
9/11, the anniversary, it still impacts me quite a bit.
It's something Mike Day can relate to. He's in the Coast Guard, now serving at Joint Base Anacostia Bowling. But in 2001, on that horrible day, he was in the New York Harbor and saw the towers fall.
It was like a snowstorm. It was just, everything was white. For a generation of Americans, 9/11 will be that moment in time that is, forever frozen.
Both of them, without hesitation, jumped into action when they were needed, and both of them paid the price for it. Mike developed skin cancer some 3 years ago, and Tim had prostate cancer. All of this has been tied to the toxic fumes they breathed in on 9/11.
We will never forget, and we won't, because we're living with the results of it. You know, I could show you my scars.
And this is when we have to tell you about three incredibly important letters. The VCF, short for the Victim Compensation Fund. It was created in 2001, shortly after the attacks, to compensate families of those who died on 9/11. But soon it became clear that people were getting sick, respiratory problems, cancers, and so the program was expanded to help them as well. As the number of victims grew, Congress was forced to refill the fund twice, once in 2010 and again in 2015. But here's the problem. People keep getting sick, especially with cancers, and many people are dying because of their illnesses. And so that pot is just getting drained. Of the $7.4 billion that was added in 2015, just over $2 billion remains. And remember, this needs to last until 2020. And so massive cuts were announced in February. 50% to all pending claims and 70% to any new claims. Just think about that. That means if you were gonna get $100 on a new claim, now you're getting 30.
I just find it ironic, as I hear the 9/11 never forget, and yet Here it is not even 20 years later, and it feels like it's being forgotten.
Stick to our mission.
And that brings us here to the Capitol,
All right, let's just head down.
where these first responders
Grab it.
are trying to get Congress to allocate more money to the fund. They invited us to shadow them.
I think it's like a hearing room or something, right?
Leading the House crew is Rob Serra, a retired firefighter from New York City.
I'm here because I can be. There's other people who can't be, you know, very close friends who are in the hospital on dialysis, you know, and they need to be fought for. It's been all over the news.
This group tracked down congressmen, sometimes in pre-planned meetings,
We'd like to see his name on the website by the end of the week. That'd be great.
and sometimes in the hallways.
And I feel good about it. I really do.
And here's the good news. The bill already has enough co-sponsors in the House to pass.
Senator Hoven's office.
The question is here in the Senate, where Rich Palmer, a former firefighter, is meeting with some high-profile lawmakers. We're talking about people like Portman, Rubio, Graham, and McConnell.
Do you feel sort of uncomfortable here, or do you feel like this is where you're supposed to be?
That's where I'm supposed to be. I've been doing this my 95th trip.
And here's the math in the Senate. Any bill needs 60 votes to pass. Right now, they have just 40 co-sponsors, 32 Democrats and 8 Republicans. So to pass, they need 20 more senators to get on board.
We're here to get a bill passed. It's that simple.
John Fields, another former firefighter, and has been leading this type of lobbying trip since 2005. He says it's personal.
People are sick and dying still, 18 years later from 9/11, and it's not getting better. It's going to get worse. You can take the fight to the doorsteps of D.C. You can. This is our house. They work for us.
It's a no-brainer.
Back at the Pentagon, Tim is hopeful that Congress will step up and help those that were there for all of us on 9/11.
Congress controls the purse strings. They need to manage the money. Put the money where your mouth is. You said never forget, then don't forget.